Am I live? Am I live? Y'all know I always got to say it. How's my lighting? I actually think I like that better with the light off. That's too bright. I actually like that better. What y'all think? Do y'all like it better with the light off? How's the lighting? Can you see me? Can you hear me okay? Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you guys for joining me on our unusual meetup because we usually meet up on Financial Friday. And I know I switched it up a little bit tonight. It's Saturday. So thank you so much for being here. But the reason why I wanted to do this live today instead of waiting until next Friday is because, girl, I just spent a whole month in Bali, Indonesia. It started as a 2-week vacation. I loved it so much. I extended my flight and it turned into a scouting trip. I completely reevaluated the whole purpose of the trip. I was like, ooh. And now that I've experienced it for a whole month, I'm evaluating the pros and cons of Bali. So if you want to live in Bali long term, if you're considering Bali as your long term second home, if you want to bop around or slow travel and spend an extended amount of time in Bali, or even if you're planning a vacation in Bali, this live, I think, will be of interest to you. I'll take away, I think. I'll take that back. This live is for you. If you have any interest in Bali, it's certainly for you. So let's talk about the pros and cons of paradise. But first, let me say hello. Let me look at the chat. Hello, Miss Greta. How you doing? How you been? Hey, Elle. Hey, girl. Hey. Yes, my Saturday has been wonderful. It is, I'm still in Southeast Asia, so it's still the beginning of, hold on, we're in the future. So y'all, it's still Saturday. It's actually Sunday morning here for me. I, it's only been 30 days, so I still have to think about it. But it's been a wonderful day so far for me. Hello, Miss Venus. How you doing? How you been? Venus says she's excited for this chat. Yes, girl, yes. I'm excited to share what I have experienced so far in Bali, Indonesia, and share my opinions on what I think of it. And I would love to get your feedback too. If you've been to Bali, have you been to Bali before? Have you lived long term or have you vacationed in Bali? Either way, let me know in the comments. Hey, Southern Rose, Tia D. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, Picky Girl, travels the world, Adelia. What's up, girl? That's my sis. But, y'all, oh, wait. I didn't introduce myself. Hey. Hey. Look, I'm so excited about this topic. I completely forgot to introduce myself, but welcome to all of my financial besties. If you are watching me live, I see you in the comments already. I'm so happy y'all here. But if you're watching the replay, comment replay gang. Y'all know I love to see your comments too. I'm so glad you are here with me. But if you're new to me, my name is Malika and I am a money coach. On this channel, I talk about all things money that help Black women create money babies so we can get to the financial freedom. I achieve financial independence. And I'm emphasizing the difference between the two. I achieved financial independence in 2017. And in a separate video, I'll talk about the difference between financial independence and financial freedom. But I did not resign from my job and realize the actual financial freedom until a year ago. A year ago today. Yes. That's another reason why I wanted to do this video today because I wanted to say on my channel that I have officially been completely free for 1 year. Yes. Yes. Y'all put it up for me in the comments. 1 year. I should have had some wine, some bubbly, or something to celebrate. We're gonna have to do a separate live to celebrate my 1 year freedom. Scratch that. Let's just do a separate live. Let's make this completely about Bali. I'm getting off track here because I'm way too happy, way too excited. But officially 1 year ago today, I resigned from my career. And now I just slow travel the world. And I stay in places that make me feel peace and joy. As a money coach, I help Black women learn how to invest with ease. And I emphasize with ease. You will hear me say with ease over and over again. Why? Because I don't spend hours researching stocks. I don't spend hours and half the day reading charts and trading. I don't watch the stock market news all day. I don't do any of that. My clients and I, we invest with ease so that we can achieve that financial freedom with ease and then live whatever we love. So if that sounds like your vibe, then join my tribe, girl. Subscribe to my channel. Join us over here. Join my little tribe that's growing. I hit, I think 1,200 followers this past week. So thank y'all. I'm so glad you're here. But join my tribe and subscribe to my channel and hit that like button while you're down there. If you're live in the chat, hit that like button while you're down there. But welcome, 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 welcome. Now let's get into the topic. So if y'all see me look down, it's because I have my phone with me today and I got some notes because I want to make sure I don't forget anything. I want to make sure I don't forget anything that I'm sharing with you. I'm going to share the pros and the cons. I have 5 or 6 pros and the equal number of cons. And at the end, if you're interested in moving to Bali, if you're interested in living in Bali long term, I'm going to share some information about the visa process that I've learned since I did a little bit of research myself. I've talked to some people that is living there currently. And I also had a brief conversation with some locals and also a visa specialist. So I have about 3 or 4 visa options that I would be eligible for. And I think most of you may be in similar circumstances. So they're the visa options that you may be eligible for as well. But I'll share those at the end. But thank you for being here. Who's been to Bali or who's vacationed in Bali? Let me look at the comments. Let's see. Hey, Malaysia. She said, I made it to a live. Thank you, girl. And thank you, Greta. Thank you. We're going to have to celebrate, do a separate live celebration for my 1 year of freedom. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the love. I'm trying to see who's been to Bali. Yes, L has been to Bali. Oh, you want to visit Bali in the next year? So I'm interested in hearing about your experience. Okay, good. I got you, girl. I got you. Hey, Janella. Hey, girl. Hey. Adelia said she didn't enjoy Bali. I would love to hear your thoughts and why you didn't enjoy it. It may be because some of the cons. I'm gonna give y'all the tea, all the tea, because Bali is paradise, but it ain't all rainbows and unicorns. And I'm pretty sure this is probably what turned Adelia off. But let's see, let's get into it. So the first pro that I would like to share. Why I love Bali so much. And I think this pro, it's such a big deal for me. And it was so overwhelmingly positive. It it's bigger than all the cons that I'm gonna share with you. It's the people. The people. Just mm, I'm sorry. I'm having a moment. When I just said the people and I paused, just some flashbacks came back to me of the experiences I've had over the past month with the people. I'm sorry, I did not expect this. Oh my God. When I tell y'all, as a Black woman traveling the world, I travel with my American lens. I've only been free for 1 year. So I'm still shedding a lot of learned behavior from living in the United States. I'm still shedding a lot of my defenses that I carry with me as an American. I still expect, and this I'm not proud to say this, but I still expect to be mistreated, to be discriminated against, to be looked over, to be viewed as like, why are you here? You know what I mean? I'm sure y'all can understand that. I travel with that defensive lens, expecting that type of treat. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I did not oh my God, I did not expect this. Oh, I need to get I'll be right back. Hold on. From now on, I will not go live unless I have Kleenex next to me. But the people, you know how you travel to some places and as a tourist, as a foreigner, they know you're a tourist, they know you're a foreigner. And if you're staying in like hotels and you're in the touristy areas, people are going to treat you nice. They see you're a foreigner, they hear your accent, they know you're an American. Around the world, people assume Americans have money. So they treat you nice because you're a tourist. They want you to spend money, right? That's the norm. But in Bali, when I tell you the Balinese people are the most kind and the most welcoming people I have ever experienced in my life anywhere in the world. And I'm a frequent traveler. I haven't been everywhere in the world. I've been to probably over 50 countries. The Balinese people are the most kind and the most welcoming people I have ever encountered in my life. Inside the tourist traps, outside the tourist traps, regular everyday people you come across at the mom and pop shops. It was so unexpected to see kindness everywhere, to see kindness consistently. Why is it unexpected to seek and experience kindness? And I don't mean politeness or niceness. I mean true, genuine kindness from their heart, from their soul. You feel it. And it's literally consistently everywhere, not just the people working in the hotels, not just the people working in the restaurants or the people that's taking you on tour. Everybody is so kind. I wish they could bottle and sell whatever is implanted in their family life, in their culture. I don't know if it's their religious beliefs, but consistently, every age, the old, the my age, the young, the people that work in tourism, the regular everyday people, they're always smiling, they're always friendly, and I'm sure they have their own stressors and their own challenges in life. And I do have another video that I'll share sometime next, don't hold me to when, but I did a video, a pre-recorded video with a woman that I now refer to as my Balinese sister. She has made me family now. She has called me family now. And you'll see our relationship unfold and some of the things that she shares about Bali life. But they're always so friendly and so helpful and so courteous and so patient. And the beauty of being in their home is their kindness started rubbing off on me. And it was such a beautiful thing for me to acknowledge because, again, like I said, my American defenses, I take them with me where I go. I'm slowly learning how to shed them. Don't get me wrong, so y'all don't drag me in the comments. I'm learning how to shed them. It's a process. So if any of you are not um, um, on your freedom journey yet, if you're still working on it, you're still planning for it, just know that you have been an American for your entire life. You have lived in an oppressed country for your entire life. It's going to take you some time to shed those learned behaviors. It's going to take you some time to shed those defenses that you carry with you, even when you're in a beautiful country where people are kind. I had to self correct. I had to stop myself in my tracks to correct my own thoughts because they came so naturally to me. It came naturally to me for me to think, oh, did they serve that person first instead of me? I've been here longer because I'm Black. It's just those subconscious thoughts that come naturally because of our lived experiences. And when I was in Bali, I had to self correct my own thoughts so many times because I knew I was out of pocket. And their kindness was rubbing off on me. I mean, I feel like I'm a nice person, I'm a polite person, but observing the Balinese culture, it made me realize I have a lot of growth to experience before I become a truly kind person. They give you grace. They are so patient and it's consistent. I was talking to another sister in the from the Exodus community. She's there too. And we met up, a couple of us met up, and we were just talking about our experiences interacting with the people. And we both were saying the same thing. And we both paused when we said the word consistently. Their kindness is consistent. It it blows my mind. I don't understand how that culture has developed for them to be so consistently kind. And I think this one pro, it just overpowers any con that I share with you. And that's what made me fall in love with Bali, the people. I've never been treated so kindly and so respectfully. And I've never felt so welcome and belonging, even though I'm obviously a foreigner. I look different. I'm darker. I sound different, but I never felt like an other. They've always treated me so kind. I always felt welcome. And just the thought of it, you can see it brings tears to my eyes. It's such a beautiful thing. I've never experienced anything like it before, anywhere in the world. Such a beautiful thing. Okay. Every pro I'm going to share, there will be a related con. Every pro will have a related con. So the con is the language. English is widely spoken. Almost everyone I came into contact with spoke some amount of English. So if you're worried about not understanding the language, it's not anything to be concerned about. Almost everyone speaks English. And worse come to worse, Google Translate, baby. Google Translate. But what I mean by the language as a con is even though most people spoke some amount of English, it caused a little bit of misunderstandings. Context matters. Context matters. So I'll just give you a few examples. And this is not a con like a negative, but it created some uncomfortable exchanges. So because the Balinese people are so kind and so welcoming, they always want to check on you, to make sure you're okay. They all, especially if you look lost or if you look like, I don't know, you're in a daze or something, they will always want to make sure you're okay. So they're always striking up a conversation with you. And and I'm laughing because it's funny now. But baby, when this happened, it wasn't funny. So I have been gone all day long. Like I think I left my villa one morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was gone all day. And I didn't get back till almost it was getting dark. So it had to be after 6 p.m. So I was gone all day. So when I came back to my villa, the guy that was working on the grounds, when he saw me, he said, "Where have you been?" Like, what? So funny now. I'm laughing because when I reflect back on my first time, someone asked me that, I was so taken aback. I was like, what? And again, my American lens as an American, when someone asks, where have you been? It's almost like a defensive question, like you've done something wrong or you've been somewhere where you shouldn't be. Like, where have you been? So my reaction was like a defensive reaction. Like, me, where I've been. Well, I didn't say that, but the way I looked at him. So I, I don't know if I answered him or what, but it was just like a weird exchange. So as soon as it happened, I went to the WhatsApp chat. There's a group uh WhatsApp chat with all the Black people in Bali. In fact, it's called Black in Bali. There's a WhatsApp chat. So I went in the WhatsApp chat and I shared that. Did I share it in the WhatsApp chat? I shared it on WhatsApp with somebody and I shared it and I was like, these people keep asking me where I've been. Like, why are they asking me that? Again, my American defenses. I don't know that it's just part of the kindness of the culture. And they laughed so hard. They were like, welcome to Bali. I was clueless. Come to find out, that's what everyone does as a way of striking up conversation when they become familiar with you and they see you often and you've been away. So when you come back, it's like a way of saying, welcome home, welcome back. But they say, where have you been? And I was so offended the first time. And sure enough, as the person had advised me, everywhere I went, once they got used to seeing me, or once I became a regular, like in a cafe or something like that, when they would see me again, they would ask, "Where have you been?" And from that point on, like after about the third or fourth time, I would just giggle inside when someone would ask, "Where have you been?" But I was so offended the first time. Another uh, question that threw me off was, "Where are you going?" Excuse me. So the con is the language and the context can create some misunderstandings and may come off as a little offensive to us as Americans, but they're really just being kind again. Another question that they ask often that may be a little off putting is, where are you staying? As Americans, because we are so uber focused on security and safety and don't tell anybody where you're going, don't share this, don't share that because people are dangerous. So when I first heard that in Bali, again, my American lens, my American defenses, like, none of your business where I'm staying. I didn't say that, but that was my thought and that was my physical reaction. They could probably read it all over my face. I know they were like, Americans are rude. But that's the question they ask just as part of conversation. You go in a nail salon, you sit down getting your nails done. They're gonna say, "Where are you staying?" They don't literally mean like where you live, like what hotel are you in. They're just striking up a conversation and they're just being kind. So be prepared for the language barrier that's spoken in English, but the context and the intent behind some of the words may mean something different to you, but they don't mean any harm in Bali. They're very, very kind people, I promise. So before I move on to the second one, let me check the comments. Oh, y'all talking. I love it that y'all are talking to each other. Oh, yeah. Janella, yes, there is healing. Ooh, girl, I'm so glad you said that. We need to know that. We need to know that as Black women. It's okay to cry, to let it out. There is healing in your tears. Janella, you need to put that on a t-shirt. Put that on some merchandise and sell it, girl. There is healing in your tears. Yes, Greta. The healing through love from others. You are seeing. Yes. Just the people. The people. It's such a loving culture. It's such a loving environment where it makes you want to be better yourself. Um, I maybe for another video because I can talk about the people for a whole hour just on the people and some of my other experiences. And as y'all can see, I'm getting teary eyed again. But yes, yes. It's so wonderful and eye opening when another culture just treats you as a human without the prejudice. I was not expecting this on this live, y'all. I was not expecting this at all. But it's so true. The people are so, I've never experienced anything like it in the world. And I've been to places where people are kind. I lived in Mexico for what, 6 or 7 months? The people are kind in Mexico. Bali was just different. Bali was different. If you're feeling this way, doll, then I need to experience some Bali. Tia, yes, you need to experience Bali. Do yourself that favor. You deserve it. It restored humanity for me. It When I go back to the United States, it's gonna make me look at people differently. It restored humanity for me. I wonder like how they got that way. And I know my Balinese sister got tired of me asking her that. And when I would ask her, I asked her so many different ways. And she was like, it's in her heart. That's all she would say is it's in her heart. Yes, Venus. I I think every black woman, every black person, but I'm speaking to black women. So every black woman should experience Bali at least once. Even if you don't stay long term, even if you don't live there, just vacation in Bali and you will see exactly what I mean. You will see exactly what I mean. Now, Adelia, I know you said Bali wasn't for you, but did you experience the kindness of the people as well? Let me know. Let me know what your experience was like with the people in Bali. I love that you got to experience the beauty of their kindness. That alone makes me want to visit. Yes, it's such a beautiful, beautiful place. And the people. Bali is beautiful in terms of, the green spaces, the beauty of it, the things to do, all the beautiful pictures you see from the influencers on social media. Bali is beautiful. But to me, what makes it a beautiful place is the people. It's the people. It trumps all. It trumps all. Yes, Venus, this is a safe place. Thank you. Thank you. I'm telling you didn't experience the beauty that I'm describing. I'm telling you, so she doesn't talk to strangers. Oh my goodness. You're funny. True kindness, love, and genuine acceptance. Yes. True kindness, love, and genuine acceptance. For an entire month, for an entire month, I did not experience any of the things that would typically cause me to be defensive. And when I did feel my defenses coming to surface, it wasn't warranted. It was really just my American reaction because I'm used to how we're treated in America. But I had no reason to wear that defensive coating while I was in Bali. It was never, ever, ever, ever needed. Yeah. So Greta said Buddhist principles. Bali's predominant religion is Hindu. They do have they, from what my Balinese sister told me, is that they welcome everyone. They are open and respect all religions. So they do have a Buddhist presence there. They also have a Muslim presence there. And there may be a few Christians as well. But their predominant religion is Hinduism. And I don't know if y'all saw the video I posted on my Instagram and also in my YouTube shorts, my purification ceremony with the Hindu priests. That was the most memorable experience I had in Bali, the most meaningful experience I had. I did all the touristy things. I did the Bali swing. I did the rice terraces. I did the floating breakfast. I did all the massages that people talk about. I did the flower bath. I did all the touristy stuff. But that purification ceremony with the Hindu priest was the most unforgettable experience I had. and I tried to take some of the footage. I have so much footage and so many pictures. I tried to take some of it and compress it into a 50-second reel. It does it no justice, the full experience. But that 50-second reel captures the highlights of the experience, and it was so beautiful. And I will always, always remember it. Okay. So our history expert here, our world expert, says Indonesia is Muslim, but Bali is Hindu. Okay. Yes. Bali is predominantly Hindu. All right. So let's get into the second pro. I see you, Greta. We getting there. I promise we getting there. Let's get into the second pro. The second pro is Bali is so affordable. And I'm choosing my words wisely. I'm not going to say that C word because I feel like that C word is degrading to the local community. I choose to say affordable because I use a more predominant currency. That's it and that's all. But Bali is so affordable. And let me give you some ideas. I won't go into a lot of detail about the housing because the pre-recorded video that I did with my Balinese sister, I ask her a lot of money related questions. And she shares the housing and what things cost and all that kind of stuff. But for this video, I'll just give you like a general idea. So most foreigners that move to Bali, or even most visitors that vacation to Bali, they usually rent either a villa or a guest house. Well, that type of housing, it includes so many luxuries that would cost you thousands of dollars anywhere in the West, thousands of dollars. I would say 30 days in Bali, my accommodations, I may have spent far less. I haven't crunched the numbers yet, but I spent less than $2,000 on my accommodations. And I stayed in some very, very nice, very luxe villas. It is so affordable. And I've also been doing research on what it would cost to stay long term, because the longer you stay, the even less it will cost. And your villas come with the housekeeping service, your breakfast, all the things that just make living comfortable, right? Things like, as women, things that we do for our self-care, getting our nails done. Before I left, I got a gel manicure and a gel pedicure, and it cost me the equivalent of about 28 US dollars. And the last place I went to a more upscale salon, and it cost $28. I got my nails done probably 3 times, which is way more than I would under normal circumstances. But when it's so affordable, I'm like, why not? I want to change the color. But the other 2 times, actually 4 times, the other 2 times were not the luxe experience, and I paid less than $20. Less than $20. The 4th time, it was included in a total spa package where I had a 5-hour spa treatment that included a facial, a full body massage, a body scrub, the mani, the pedi, and something else. And it was 500,000 rupiah. And 500,000 rupiah is the equivalent of about $32. That included all of those things for about 5 hours. It's $32. I know if you live there, spa treatments may not be a thing that you do often, but at those prices, I could see myself doing it at least once a week. At least once a week. Yeah. Food, very, very affordable. I don't think I paid I'm going to exclude alcohol. Excluding the alcohol, I don't think I paid more than $5 for a regular meal. And even my most upscale dining experiences where I would meet up with an American. So we would eat someplace, pretty nice. Um, no more than $10, even in the nicer restaurants. And the reason why I say I excluded alcohol is because alcohol is pricey. Well, you know what? Not pricey. Alcohol is on par with the price of it in the West. I don't know why that's so. But once you include alcohol, yeah, your bill gonna go up a little bit. But if you don't drink and you just order a juice or water or any type of regular drink, a tea or something like that, then it's very, very, very affordable. I've heard a lot of people say that it's cheaper to eat out every day than to buy groceries and cook at home. People that live there say it's cheaper to eat out every single day than to buy groceries and cook at home. And I believe it because it's so affordable. So affordable. Usually your accommodations are going to include breakfast. So you really only have to eat out for lunch and dinner. Um, and if you eat local, like get away from the tourist traps, the price is even less. The price is even less. My Bali sister, she took me to this restaurant where she wanted me to try fried duck. I had never had duck before. And I think for both of our meals together and our drinks was like $11. And this was at a pretty nice restaurant. I'm going to do a video showing some pictures and footage of, the things I did in Bali, but it's like $11. It's really, really affordable. And the reason why I share that is because with this being a finance channel, it made me think about this quote from Tim Ferriss. I don't know if you are familiar with Tim Ferriss, but he wrote, yes, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. It's cheaper to eat out every day. Every day. Apparently buying groceries at the grocery store is considered a luxury. And eating out is considered normal. So you gotta, watch your health and your diet and make sure you're getting your greens and your fiber to stay healthy. But yes, cheaper to eat out every day. And I'm not a cook. I like to eat. So I'm actually okay with that. I can eat out every day. But anyway, getting back to the point. So Tim Ferriss, he wrote the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. It's not a promotion for the book. He's not paying me to share this. But the reason why he came to mind is because he's known for saying, fun things happen when you earn in dollars, live on pesos, and compensate in rupees. And that quote is associated with a financial strategy called geo arbitrage. And what a lot of people do in the financial community when they're trying to achieve FIRE or FI, they will move to an area that has a lower cost of living, your housing and your primary expenses, like your food, for example. They will move to an area that has a lower cost of living, but they earn from an area that pays more. So, and this doesn't apply only to living abroad. A lot of people in the United States do it too. So they will earn in an area that pays more, but they will live in the area that costs less. So that's basically the concept of geo arbitrage. But you earn that stronger currency and you live in an area that has a lower cost of living. And what that does is it widens the gap between your income and your expenses. And you want to widen that gap as much as possible so you'll have more money to invest. And ultimately, that helps you to accelerate your FIRE goal. So if you are working on your finances and you're waiting to achieve your goal before you leave, you might want to reconsider that, sis. If you have a way to take your stronger currency with you and live in a lower cost of living area, that will widen the gap and help you to accelerate your goal. So consider that in your financial strategy. Let's see your thoughts on that in the comments. Tia said I need to share my accommodations. My favorite, can I share a picture? I don't want to break my setup over here. So I need to practice offline and sharing, but I'll give you the name of it. My favorite villa that I stayed in several because I bounced around because I wanted to experience different parts of the island. Because once it turned into a scouting trip, I was like, I need to see where I want to live. But my favorite villa was in Ubud, and the name of it was Kanhara Villas. I'll post that in the comments. Kanhara Villas. Yeah, so that was my favorite villa of all the different places that I stayed. And it was like a loft where when you walk in, it was in your living room. There's a little mini kitchen. There is a couch, and there was like a little breakfast bar to eat at. And then you go upstairs, and your bedroom was upstairs. And it was a wide open floor plan. You can, look over the loft to see everything and the private pool. So the thumbnail of this picture, that pool that I was in, it was in this villa that I'm referring to. But yeah, so check that out. But yes, that was my favorite villa. But anyway, so if you are on a fire journey, if you are aspiring to become financially independent, don't stay in an area that has a high cost of living while you're trying to achieve that goal, because it's just going to take so much longer. You're just going to be slogging along. And if you live in a high cost of living area, it's only so much you can cut. It's only so much you can cut. Sometimes the prices are what they are. It is what it is. You can't go any lower unless you want to live like a pauper. And I don't recommend that for anybody. That I'm fine. I've never ever lived like a pauper. I never ever cut out all the fun in my life, cut out all the comforts in my life. So I would not recommend that for anyone. But one of the ways where you can accelerate your goals is geo arbitrage. Go ahead and move to that lower cost of living area if you can take your money with you. Widen that gap between your income and your expenses, and it will accelerate your goal. So the Rose said, I did the baby version of this. Okay. For my career, I have a DC salary, but I live in Central Virginia. Exactly. You don't necessarily have to leave the country to make this work. I love that you referred to it as the baby version. But you don't necessarily have to leave the country to make it work. Just live somewhere where the cost of living is cheaper compared to where you're earning your money. Because, baby, living in DC proper, you can't save no money. Although the salaries in DC are very, very nice. Very nice. I walked away from that very nice salary, but I could because I had already achieved my financial independence goal, but I was able to do it similar to Tia D. I lived outside of the city limits. I lived outside of the city limits. And I don't know if I've shared this on this channel, but I think I shared it with the interview with Adelia. I can't remember. But I used to live closer to the city. And one of the ways that I accelerated my goal was moving further away from the city. I've lived so far outside the city, there was no metro. The metro system didn't go out to where I lived. But by then, I was working from home, so I didn't need to commute into the office anyway. And by living outside of the city, I reduced my living expenses by almost $1,000 a month. It's been a minute, so I had to think about it. Almost $1,000 a month. I widened the gap between my income and expenses. My quality of living did not change. My standard of living did not change. I just change my location. And that accelerated my goal. That's what helped me to get to 5 faster. You don't have to cut out the $5 latte. You don't have to stop seeing your friends at happy hour. When you want to reduce expenses, focus on the heavy hitters. I have said this on my channel. Focus on the heavy hitters and make the changes that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. But I'm getting off topic here. I'm getting into my financial bag now. I'm a money coach. I can't. But the con that's associated with this pro of being affordable, the con that's associated with the pro of being affordable is the long flight, and the cost of the flight is very expensive. So when I was considering living there, I was thinking about what my life would look like. I would be so far away from the US. I flew to Bali I was in Europe when I came to Asia. I think I was in Madrid, either Madrid or Barcelona. So I didn't come as far as the East Coast, but that flight alone just from Madrid was 20 hours. It was a 20-hour flight. And that flight was expensive. I did not plan to come to Bali. It was a last minute decision. So I paid a little more due to a last minute flight. But even when I search future flights, because as I'm trying to figure out, is this someplace I can live? Let me see what flights would cost. I would probably want to come back to visit my family at least twice a year. So I went on my Googles, and I started searching the flights and pricing them either to the DC area or where my family actually lives, and different airports where I can easily get to my people. Flights are expensive. So that's something that you would have to consider if you want to live in Bali. So coming from Madrid, I flew 20 hours. I imagine coming from the East Coast, it would be 23, 24 hours. I don't know if there's a direct flight. I don't even know if I want to fly a direct flight that far. This is too far to fly direct for me. Even in the most comfortable seat, I need to get off that plane. So I prefer layovers when I'm going this far. And I actually prefer longer layovers. That way I can visit 2 countries in one trip. So the longer the layover, the better. But this particular flight that was 20 hours, I did not have a long layover. I did have a layover, but it was just like maybe an hour or two. But the travel time was 20 hours. That's a long time to fly. So if you're living in Bali and you want to visit your family 2 times a year, like me, for example, that's a lot to consider. That's a lot to consider. And the cost of the flight, I flew business class coming, and it was a little pricey. It was a little pricey. I'm not opposed to flying economy. I'm short. I'm a short girl. I'm 5'2", so I have plenty of leg room, even in economy. But when I fly more than 10 hours somewhere, I do prefer more space so I can relax, because I have back issues. So I usually take the long haul flights in a more relaxing experience. I prefer a more relaxing experience. So I have to pay for that experience, because one of the worst things that I've done before that I will never, ever do again in order to save $1 is flying long haul in economy, and then I get to my destination and my back is jacked up. That is not any way to live. I didn't do all of that work to become financially independent just to try to save $500 and then my back be jacked up for 3 days. I can't do it. So if you fly economy, I have seen flights that are around $800. I'm sure if you catch a deal where the flying time is really weird and really wonky, where you're flying red eye and then the layover is like, I don't know, 26 hours somewhere, you can probably find a flight cheaper than $800. But even those flight deals, for the average person, the flights to Bali is really the biggest expense you're going to have. So the flights are not affordable. And they're long. I think the length of the flight is worse than the price. It's a really, really long travel day to get to your destination. So if I decide to live in Bali, I will either have to reevaluate how often I visit my family, or I will have to think really, really hard about 20 plus hours on a plane. So yeah, that's a big con for me. That's a huge con for me. And my flight going back, I'm flying out of Thailand when I go back. And because I bought this flight in advance and it's just a one-way flight, that flight going back was $840 or $850 going back. But I booked that well in advance because I knew the date I was going to leave Thailand, because I need to get back to the United States because I have another trip planned with a family member for our birthdays. So even though I've been, slow traveling and bopping around, I knew I wanted to end in Thailand. So I booked that flight in advance. So that's how I was able to get that for about $800 and something. But yeah, you're going to be paying at least $800 for a flight for sure. So yeah, 20 plus hours flying and $1,000 for the flight. Yeah, that's a con for me. All right. So the next one, let's see what you guys said about the pro and con number 2. 20 hours of steerage. Did an economy flight to Beijing and another to Nairobi. Never again. No, ma'am. Anything. And I might even change my current rule. Right now, it's anything over 10 hours. I usually upgrade my flight. But the older I get, the more I'm like, I always want to fly business first if I can. I always want to fly business first. And full disclosure, I do have credit card points and credit card rewards that I use when I upgrade my flight. I don't have status on any airlines anymore. Prior to the pandemic, and of course, when I was working the 9 to 5 and traveling and stuff, it was easy to get those miles and those points up to get status. And because I didn't travel for so long, I didn't travel for 2.5 years. A lot of my status expired, so I'm rebuilding again. But I don't have status on any airline, so I don't get free upgrades anymore like I have in the past. But yeah, flying economy on a long haul flight, that ain't the business. And especially if you have back problems like me, that ain't the business. I can barely do 8 hours to the UK. 20 hours is a no for me. I know that's right, Raven. Yeah, I know that's right. I'm gonna start reevaluating my 10-hour limit. My 10-hour limit. But like I said, because I'm short, so in economy or even in economy plus, it's still plenty of room for me. But when I fly long haul, I need to lay down. I need to lay down for my back. But anyway, all right, y'all, let's get into con number 3. Pro number 3. Pro number 3. We're going to start with the positive first. Pro number 3 is the safety. Oh my God. I know safety is relative, right? And I know that you should always be aware of your surroundings because there's like petty crimes everywhere. But Bali, for the most part, is very, very safe. Like I never felt unsafe at night, whether I was alone, whether I was with a friend, walking the streets. It's very, very safe. And when I first got there, again, with my American lens, and I'm in the car with someone, or we're out, leaving a restaurant, after dinner and walking back to a villa or something, and I'm seeing like little children walking by themselves. I'm like, where they going? Where they mama? It was like mind blowing to me to see children out by themselves late at night. And then I remember I was with my Balinese sister one morning. She picked me up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. We were going somewhere that was on the other side of the island. So it was still dark. I would see ladies walking with baskets on their heads in the pitch black dark. And I remember questioning her, like, is that safe? And the whole concept of safety for me was very different from the concept of safety for her. And it just blew my mind. And just as another example, one of the jobs that my Balinese sister does, and I say one of them because she has many jobs, is she works at a bank. And her job at a bank is to collect the payments on loans. So I'm thinking, when she was explaining her job, I'm thinking, oh, okay, so you work at a bank, you work like inside the bank, and people come inside the bank to make payments, and you are, the person that received the payments. And she was like, no, I go to their house. I said, what? She said, I go to their house. I have I think she said she had about 30 clients that she collects from. And she goes to their house. I said, oh, so they like write you a check, or you have like contactless, you have like a machine, like a contactless machine where they pay. And she said, no, they give me money. I said, wait a minute. Your job at the bank is to go to people's house to collect payments on loans, and they give you cash money? How do you do it? Do you have like again, my American mind, you have like an escort? Like, are you in a car? You got security? You just walking around Bali with all this cash that you collecting from different people? And she said, no, I do it myself. I said, how do you do it? Because my brain, I'm thinking like the armored trucks in the United States that drive around with cash. And she said, I ride my motorbike. Wait a minute. You work at a bank. Your job is to collect cash from people, and you go from house to house on your motorbike. What do you hold the money in? And she showed me her little mind blown. I said, is that safe? And I know she got so sick of me asking, is that safe? And she looking at me crazy, like, what do you mean is that safe? Of course it's safe. My point is, Bali is so safe. I let down my guard and I did things that I would never do in the United States. It's such a safe place to be. It is ideal for your first solo travel experience. If you're afraid to solo travel, Bali is a place for you to do it because it's extremely safe. The only, and I hesitate to say crimes, but that's the word I'm going to use for right now. The only crime that I read about, I didn't hear it from anybody. I didn't see it. I didn't observe it. I didn't experience it. But the only crime I read about is like petty crimes. Like if you are on a motorbike, and you'll hear about this con later. If you're on a motorbike, because traffic is insane. There's like a whole lot of people together, and you have like your phone in your hand, or you have a backpack on and your backpack is not closed completely. There's petty crimes where people may, and I say may because I didn't experience it. I didn't hear anybody else talk about it. And my Balinese sister, when she was explaining Bali life, she didn't mention it either, but I did read about it online, and it may have been a website that was created by an American. I don't know. And it may have been crime that was committed by a foreigner. I don't know. So I won't attribute this specifically to Bali, but I'm sharing it because it's something I did read about, that there's petty crime, but that's it. There's petty crime, but that's it. Bali, for the most part, is a very, very safe place to be. So if you are a Black woman and you are considering a solo trip and you're afraid to take that leap, go to Bali first. You'll have a wonderful time. The con to this safety, when it's not safe, girl, the wild monkeys. I wasn't worried about the people. I wasn't worried about anybody hurting me. I wasn't worried about anybody stealing anything from me. But baby, those wild monkeys, I was scared. Yes, I was scared. And I'm not talking about just going to the tourist attraction. I think there's a tourist attraction called Monkey Forest. I'm not talking about going to Monkey Forest. I mean, like anywhere. I was walking down the street. I went shopping one day, walking down the street, going back to my villa. I have footage. If you follow me on Instagram, I post in my stories all day long. So you've seen this in my stories if we're connected on Instagram. Just walking down the street. Two monkeys on the road. I was like, what the? And one of the monkeys had a mango, and the other one walked up to him to try to take his mango. He started hollering. They started scrapping on the street. I was like, oh my God. Of course, you know, I pulled out my camera, my little foreigner self. I'm scared, but I'm still recording. Baby, the wild monkeys ain't no joke. I went to this outside event. It was called the Kijat performance. Beautiful, beautiful experience. But it was like a local, a traditional Balinese performance where they use their spiritual practices in the performance. I have footage of it. I'll share that. I'll share it somewhere. On Instagram, my name is also Money Coach Malika. I'm not sure if I'll do a YouTube video. If I do a YouTube video, it may be sometime in the future because it takes a long time to edit, y'all. So forgive me for the delays in sharing content on YouTube, but I share in real time on Instagram because it's raw. But I went to this outside performance in Uluwatu, Bali, and it's on the coast. Beautiful, beautiful city. My Balinese sister, she told me to take off my earrings, take off my necklace, I had to take off everything. I'm like, why? I'm thinking we're about to go somewhere unsafe. Girl, the monkeys will jack you. So if you're scared of anything, be scared of the monkeys, okay? Girl, I was taking off. Look, you ain't got to tell me twice. They will take your bag, they will take your purse, and they will run. Unless you got food. Unless you got food, you can probably get your stuff back if you give them some food. I don't know. But the monkeys ain't no joke. It ain't safe. The tip that I was given, if you do encounter a monkey, do not look it in its eyes. Monkeys will take that as a threat. You want all the smoke? Unless you want all the smoke, don't look a monkey in his eyes. And the other tip was, if a monkey jumps on you, it's not necessarily attacking you. If it jumps on you, don't freak out. Don't scream, don't holler, don't jump, don't run. If it jumps on you, just walk. Just walk away slowly, and it will eventually come down and get off of you and walk away. I didn't experience that, thank God, but I observed it in others. I saw some monkeys snatch some purses. Maybe they're the ones committing the petty crimes that those websites were talking about. But girl, the wild monkeys ain't no joke. Another thing that ain't no joke in Bali is the mosquitoes. I don't know which one is worse, the wild monkeys or the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes. Sis, let me tell you something. The little cute lotions that you travel with, the skin so soft, your little shea butter where you put your essential oils in it, your lavender and your lemongrass, all that cutesy stuff. Girl, leave that at home. Leave that at home. Mm-mm. The deet, leave that at home. It don't work in Bali. Ask me how I know. Woo, girl, the mosquitoes. I don't know if it's my blood type or what, because I was with some sisters and they was like, they're not getting bit up. I'm getting bit up all over the place. It took me 2 days to find what the locals use, because I was like, this ain't gonna work. I'm about to be walking around looking like Hitch. This ain't gonna work. I need something. The locals told me to buy. It was 2 products that they recommended. One was Soffel, Soffell. It's like in a white bottle with a pink top. I tried that. It worked a little bit, but not good enough. The other product that they recommended, which I bought 3. It was more of a spray. It was a white clear bottle with a blue top. Why can I not remember the name of that one? But it was a spray. I would smother myself in it after I take my shower in the morning, my shower at night before bed. I never walked around with my skin exposed. I was smelling like mosquito repellent everywhere. Because I was not trying to risk my life. And by the way, the mosquitoes in Bali do carry dengue. So I'm saying this jokingly, I'm laughing now, but the mosquitoes in Bali do carry dengue. So you have to be careful and make sure you protect yourself. And I understand that that the mosquitoes are worse like at dawn and dusk. So make sure you protect yourself. Cover every inch of your skin. That was one day I did not put mosquito repellent on my face because I didn't think I needed to. The mosquitoes was like, ooh, fresh meat. And here is a place that isn't covered. I will bite here. How do you get a mosquito bite on your eyelid? Did I not see it where I could swat it or try to kill it? Girl, I had a mosquito bite on my eyelid because I had no mosquito repellent there. I can't even tell you how that happened. That was the last time it happened, though. I said, you know what? I got y'all. Baby, I will put a little bit, I would spray it in my hand, put it all over my body, and then take a little bit on my fingertips. And I would just wipe really lightly over my eyelids. I left no piece of skin untouched by mosquito repellent. You weren't about to get me. And after I figured out my routine, I was fine. So I say all that to say, leave your little cute stuff at home. When you get to Bali, go to the store and buy the 2 products that the locals use and smother yourself in it every day. If you go to the pool, you go to the beach, make sure you put it back on again. Reapply it throughout the day. If you sweat a lot, reapply it again. You do not want to tussle with the Balinese mosquitoes. They different, y'all. They different. They different. The other things that made me feel unsafe, and the rest of this is just jokingly now, because the things you love about Bali, it's because it's the jungle. My favorite area of Bali is Ubud. I love Ubud, but it's the jungle. I love the greenery. I love the green spaces. I love the trees. I love the plants. I love the flowers. But what comes with the jungle? The critters. So that is a con because I don't like critters, but I had to learn how to coexist with them. Those little gecko things, I call them the gecko things, but the little gecko thing, the little sound they make, all night long. You hear them. I don't know if that thing was inside my villa, outside my villa, but it was so loud, it sounded like it was in the bed with me. That thing was making that noise all night. The roosters. The roosters get up and do their job starting about 4 o'clock in the morning, child. You gonna hear the roosters. You gonna hear the geckos all night, the roosters all morning, the bugs, the critters, everything, everywhere. You gonna see them. So if you don't like critters, Bali is not for you. I don't like critters, but I love Bali so much. I had to learn to coexist with them. I was like, you know what? I ain't even gonna kill you. I would ask the owners of the villa, to come and spray. They were very nice. They would give you these little plugins with something in it that I guess would repel them to keep them out of, your living space. So there are ways that they can treat the living space to keep them at a minimum. But even with all the treatment, you're in the jungle. It is what it is, girl. So that is a con for you to consider. Can you coexist with nature? Gail, I'm afraid of monkeys too, girl. Girl, I was so defensive. I did go to Monkey Forest, the little tourist experience. And you see those cute little pictures on social media where people let the monkey sit on their shoulder or sit in their lap and they feeding the monkey. My Balinese sister was like, come over here. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And she was like, I just want to get a picture of you. Okay, you don't have to let it sit on you. Just get closer. Get close to it. So I would try to do what she suggested. And I was so defensive. She said, get closer. I'm like, no. No. I do have a picture that I do want to share. I'll share it in the community after we finish this live. Girl, I was scared. You could see it in my eyes. When we looked at those pictures, we laughed so hard. I am not about the wildlife. No, ma'am. I'm not about the wildlife. He said I need the name of that. Let me get it for you right now. I'll get it for you because I do have it because I bought 3 bottles. Hold on. Right here. It is called Auton. A-U-T. I don't know how the girlies do it when they're trying to show a product. Let me cut this light off. There we go. A-U-T-A-N. This is magic. This is gold. Yes, that's the product that did the trick for me. That's what finally made it work for me. Are you guys okay if I turn that light off? Is this lighting okay? Let me know if it isn't. I'll turn the light back on. But all right. So number 4, I have 5, by the way. So number 4, the number 4 pro is ease. A life of ease. If you desire a life of ease, Bali is for you. The level of service, because the people are just so naturally kind, but take the natural, consistent, normal kindness that's ingrained in their culture. And then when you add that to the kindness when you're in a tourist environment and when you're a visitor or foreigner, it just multiplies it times 10. So the level of service provided in Bali is outstanding. And I share this for my sisters that just want to travel to Bali, not necessarily live, but just want to travel to Bali. The level of service is outstanding. Like I was at dinner or lunch with two sisters from the Exodus community. And one of them has lived there for 5 years. I invited her on my channel to uh, talk about life in Bali, and she's busy this weekend, but she said she is open to it in the future. So sometime in the future, we will coordinate that. But there was a bottle of water on our table, and we were all, ready to drink some water, and she just put her hand up, and the waiter came over, and she said, "We would like to have water now." And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And he came over with his little cloth because the water bottle was cold. So it had condensation on it and it was wet. He wiped the bottle off. He opened the bottle and poured water. And he stood back to wait to see if we were pleased with the water. And I'm observing, like, okay, I like this. I think I like this. Another time I was in where was I? Oh, I was at a beach club. So just, chilling, hanging out, relaxing on the beach. And I was eating and I had some napkins. So it's normal when the waiters and waitress come by, clear off your table, clear off your plate and your napkins that you've used. I was done. My table was clear. So I just grabbed a napkin and wiped off some water that had spilled, and the napkin was just sitting on the side. A woman comes up to me. She takes my napkin. She wipes off the table again and hands me another napkin and said, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" I was like, "I'm just sitting here and there was a little splatter of water on the table. No, I'm fine, but thank you." I said, "I like this." But the normal level of ease, if you were living there, what I like about Bali is the peaceful environment, like the beauty of the green space, the calmness of the culture, the healing energy, the healing practices that they have in Bali, like the purification ceremony that I shared. Um, it's such a calm and relaxing environment. It encourages you to slow down. It encourages you to be present. I don't know about you all, but my mind is used to racing. Like, I'm always forward thinking about the future or what I need to do next or what's on my calendar for tomorrow. And that's that capitalist mentality that I'm still working to shed, right? But the culture and the environment in Bali, it encourages you to just appreciate life today. In fact, they give offerings every day just to give thanks for today. It encourages you to stay present. And a lot of their lifestyle is like coexisting with nature, and they give a lot of reverence to the creation of nature. And I find that to be so beautiful and so healing and grounding. And that was a major pro for me because I feel like in this phase of my life, I'm kind of like on a healing journey. Not necessarily physical healing, but like spiritual healing, mental healing. I have so many trauma responses that I've normalized in my life that I need to unlearn. And the environment in Bali, it encourages that healing. It provides the resources to guide in those in that healing journey. It has practices that are normal in their culture that will help you on your healing journey. And feeling it, observing it, seeing the results from other Black women that now live there, seeing the results of their current life and hearing the trauma that they came with and what they overcame, what they were able to overcome after being in Bali for several years. It was very inspirational for me, and it was very encouraging. And I want that. I don't want it to be just for a vacation. I don't want it to be just a 30-day experience. What I experienced in those 30 days, if I could normalize that in my everyday life, to me, that's the true definition of freedom and ease. And I wish that more of us could experience that because it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to see. And I can't wait to do that video with our Exodus sister. Her name is Koalani, Miss Koalani. She is 68, 69 years old. Girl, she look my age. She look my age. She's been in Bali for 5 years now. And her mannerisms, it's like you could see the Balinese influence in her life. It's like we were all together and we were talking. You know, as Americans, we're loud. We're loud. We talk loud, especially when Black women get together. We're excited. We're happy. We're loud. And in this group of Black women that's experiencing the beauty of Bali, we're excited. We're happy. But when Miss Koalani would speak, her voice would come down and it would make all of us lower our voices too. And it was such an amazing thing to observe. I didn't even realize it was happening, but it was such an amazing thing to observe. And her way of life is just so peaceful, where it kind of like, I can't even find the right words to describe it. And whatever word I choose is not going to do it any justice. It's almost like she emitted peace. It's like it just came out of her, and just being in her presence and in her home, in her villa, and being in the surroundings, it was almost like it was contagious. It was contagious, and it made you feel at peace, and it made you want it too, especially if you're coming from a toxic life, a stressful life, being only 1 year free, from a stressful job like me. Just observing it, it was just so beautiful, and I love it. So a life of ease is a major pro of being in Bali, visiting and living in Bali. As with each pro, there is a con. The con that's related to that life of ease is the traffic. My God, I've never seen traffic like this before. I've seen it on TV, but I've never seen it in real life. I posted on my Instagram, as I told y'all, I post in real time on Instagram. I posted on Instagram. I was like, Bali is the first place I have ever been where you will get to your destination faster by walking. The traffic in Bali is insane. It's insane. It's like it could be a 2-lane street. Because of so much traffic, they will create extra lanes. And before you know it, it'll be like 4 or 5 lanes. And cars and bikes and things is coming from all different directions. And I didn't understand the rules of the road, the who goes first, who has the right of way. Somehow it works. I didn't see not one accident while I was there. But traffic is like, it looks like pure chaos to me. And because traffic is so bad, driving or riding in a car, it will take you 2, 3 times as long to get to your destination. So most people in Bali, residents, locals, and foreigners alike, tourists too, they ride motorbikes. They ride motorbikes in order to navigate through the traffic. And when I first saw it, I was clutching my invisible pearls because them motorbikes was getting up on the sidewalk. They were going in between the cars, and motorbikes with 2, 3, 4 people on it, kids in the front. I was, which is a related con. Bali is not walkable. Bali is not walkable. And that is so important to me, to be in a place that's walkable. If you follow me on Instagram, you have not seen a wealth walk in the past month. Everyone that knows Malika knows I start every day with a wealth walk. I call it my wealth walk because money is just a tool, but your health is really your wealth. And walking is a proven way to reduce your blood pressure, to reduce your chances of heart disease, to reduce and manage all types of illnesses. So I love to walk. I love to walk. I would start each day with a 1 hour walk every day. And I called it my wealth walk. And sometimes I will have thoughts that come to me that I'll share in my Instagram stories with my financial friends. And it's what I call like downloads from God. Because being in nature, hearing the silence of nature, the birds chirping, seeing the green spaces, it's very grounding for me, very therapeutic. So there's a green space here, but Bali is not walkable. Walking can be a contact sport. You might lose your life. There are no sidewalks. There are no, I used to joke about the jacked up sidewalks when I lived in Mexico, because Mexico will have all kinds of cracks in the sidewalks and won't fix them. And you will be, stepping down here, climbing over there to get back to the regular pavement. In Bali, they don't have cracks either because it ain't there. It ain't no sidewalks. And there were times where I tried to walk to get to some place that I thought was relatively close, maybe only 15, 20 minutes away. Girl, about 5 minutes into it, I was regretting my decision. I was like, ooh, this is a bad decision. I was questioning my life. Thankfully, I made it, but I didn't try it again. Bali is not walkable. And that's so unfortunate because it's such a beautiful place. But the traffic is so bad. People ride motorbikes to get to their destinations faster. And there's so many motorbikes, so many cars. And it's not like rush hour traffic, like in the US, if you live in a major city. Imagine what's worse than rush hour traffic. I can't even think of anything. But imagine rush hour traffic 24/7. Imagine New York City, LA, Washington, D.C., rush hour traffic 24/7. That's Bali. You could literally get to your destination faster if you walked, but it's not safe to walk. And when I saw those motorbikes zooming in and out of traffic, going up on curves, I was scared to ride a motorbike. But one thing I learned really quickly, when in Bali, you know the rest. You got to do what the Balinese do. So eventually, sister girl had to get on the motorbike. You have to. You have to get on the motorbike to get anywhere. Otherwise, you won't get there. And girl, when I was on that motorbike, I was clenching my booty cheeks. I was so scared. I was so scared. But after about my third or fourth time, I would call in Bali we have the Grab. They have the Grab app and Gojek. So that's the equivalent of like Uber and Lyft. When I first got there, I would, you know, pull up the app and they give you the option whether you want a car or a motorbike. And I was choosing a car every time. And in a car, it's so inexpensive. You can ride 30 minutes uh in like a Uber in Bali and pay like $3. But on a motorbike, that 30-minute ride could cost you 50 cents. And you will get there in probably half the time. Now, you might question your life, but you will get there. And it will cost pennies, pennies to get there. So anytime a guy would pick me up, I would let him know I'm scared. That's the first thing I would say. I'm scared or I'm nervous. Just so he will be aware that I am going to be holding on for dear life. Because people in Bali, they ride on the bikes, they don't be holding on, they don't have a helmet on, they just chilling. I was like, no, I can't do that. So I will let the guy know I'm scared, I'm nervous, I need a helmet. I don't know who else hair and head been in those helmets. I ain't care. I was more worried about my life. I would put the helmet on. And in Bali, you have an option of choosing a regular motorbike and then also what they call an extra comfort motorbike. So I guess it's a wider bike with a wider seat, and probably feel more grounded and balanced too. So I will always choose the extra comfort motorbike. It was still like 50, 60 cents. No, no, no. The regular motorbike would be like 50, 60 cents. The comfort motorbike would be like maybe 80 cents. Like it was ridiculously affordable. But I would always get the comfort motorbike, wear the helmet, and I will let the driver know I was scared. So I would ask the driver to go slowly. Now they have their own definition of slow. I'll warn you of that. But I made it to my destination and I would hold on for dear life. I held on to this one guy so tight. He said, Malika. So I thought he meant like lean back because my helmet kept hitting the back of his helmet. I thought he was telling me to lean back. He said, no, no, back up. And he pulled over because I was like literally holding on to him. I was so close. There was so much room on the seat behind us. I was so embarrassed. He said, no, no, you sit back here. It's funny now. It's funny now. But girl, it was not funny. It was not funny in the moment because I was scared. But after doing that about 3 times, I was fine. I was fine, surprisingly. And the motorbike would go in and out of traffic. It can be two big cars side by side. They would squeeze in between the cars. One motorbike, he ran up on the sidewalk because traffic was so ridiculous. That's what you have to do to get where you're going. And I just held on and we got to our destination. I still would not ride a motorbike at nighttime though. My girl, Koalani, that I was talking about that lives there, she has a motorbike. She drives herself on a motorbike now. Now imagine once I uh, move to Bali, or if I move to Bali, eventually I will get so used to it where maybe I'll have my own motorbike too. I saw some pink motorbikes. I was like, ooh, that's cute. But I adapted to motorbike life during the day. I still didn't adapt to it at night. I was like, ooh, seeing all them lights, seeing all the traffic, and my life was flashing, honey. So I couldn't do it at night, but I did adapt to it during the day. So be aware of the traffic. Be aware that there is lots of traffic in Bali. If you're going to get around in Bali and you want to get to your destination quickly, you're going to have to get on a motorbike. And Bali is not walkable. That's a big con for me because I love to walk. I love to walk every day, at least an hour every day. And I did not do very much walking over the past month. So that's a major, major con for me. Yeah. I see you, Pamela. Pamela said, I definitely need a walkable city. Yeah. Unfortunately, Bali is not. Now, I can't speak for all of Bali. I want to be clear about that. I was in Ubud, which I love the most. That's my favorite. I was in Kuta, Canggu. Canggu is where most of the expats live, where most of the foreigners live in Canggu. Traffic in Canggu is insane. It's, to me, worse than Ubud. Canggu, Kuta, Ubud, Seminyak, and Uluwatu. So those are the only places I'm familiar with. And Dimpensar. Traffic was ridiculous in all of those places. Unless you were on like the highway, getting in between each of those areas of the island, where it was like open highway, it was fine. But once you get into the city, the main area, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's not walkable at all. There are no sidewalks. There are, even if there's like a path created where you can walk, it's all dirt and it's not safe because there's wires, there's ditches, there's holes. It's like you constantly have to be looking. And because you have to be so aware of where you're stepping, to me, it wasn't an enjoyable experience, which is why I walk. I walk for the relaxing, enjoyable experience. And yeah, the way you have to walk in Bali, it wasn't enjoyable at all. Yep. Tia says walkability is so important. Bali is not walkable, so that's a major con for me. And the last pro and con, number 5, is the weather. The weather. Bali is hot, but it's not unbearably hot. It's the type of heat that I like. It's warm weather year round. It's not too hot. It's like mid to upper 80s. Mid to upper 80s with humidity. It is humid in Bali. But even with humidity, it may feel like maybe low 90s. It's right in my sweet spot. So if you saw my video about why I left Merida, Mexico, where I talked about my sweet spot, it's like right in my sweet spot. It's not unbearably hot like Merida, Mexico was. Like Merida, Mexico felt like you were high-fiving the sun. I can't do that kind of heat. So it's hot in Bali, but it's the type of heat that I like. That when I'm warm, in a warm, humid environment, my body feels more flexible. I don't get as stiff, like the back pain I was telling you about. I don't get as stiff, and I feel more limber. I guess that's the right word. I feel more limber. And I think the humidity and the warmness, it helps with that. Because when I'm in a cold environment, I get stiff. And my physical therapist, she says you can tell when I'm in pain because my shoulders start touching my ears. It's like I get stiff, and you will see me, like if you ever see me recording from the United States and it's in the wintertime, like when I go home for the holidays, you might see me look like this. And if so, it's because I'm in pain. So cold makes me feel physical pain. It's not something I enjoy, but I like warm weather. It is hot in Bali. It is humid in Bali, but it's not unbearably hot. So that is a pro for me. Bali does have a rainy season. It's my understanding that the rainy season starts this month and it lasts for, several months. But just like any tropical environment, it'll rain, have spurts of rain, and then it'll stop. The sun will come out. It'll rain, have spurts of rain, and stop. The sun will come out. So from the people that have lived in Bali long term, they don't really experience any negativity because of rainy season. It's just a way of life, and they've adapted, and it doesn't cause any major problems from what they tell me. Right. So this is anecdotal information, from what they tell me. And also, what I've read, I haven't experienced it yet. But from what I hear, the rainy season is not a terrible thing. And because it's so hot and humid, they invite the rain. They invite the rain. It cools it off a bit. And of course, you need some rain, for the crops and, the natural food that grows there. So the weather was a plus for me. I know a lot of people don't like the really warm weather and they say Bali is too hot. I happen to enjoy the temperatures of Bali. The con to that, to me, there is no con associated with the weather. But the other con I wanted to share that was um, a major concern for me, considering my health and my pre-existing conditions, is the medical care. The medical care. So for basic health and dental care, the care is quality. It's good quality and it's affordable. In fact, I got my teeth cleaned when I was in Bali, and I paid very affordable. I paid 400,000 rupiah, and that's equivalent about, I think, about $25 to have my teeth cleaned. So for basic health and dental care, it's good quality care. It was a clean office. The dentist spoke English. It was very modern equipment, the same thing that I would see in the United States. But the con for me is, from what I understand, if you have any major health issues or any major illness or sickness, like, I don't know, you need heart surgery, or I don't know, you get into an accident on a motorbike and your leg get chopped off. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like a major serious injury. From what I understand is they may not be equipped to treat a serious injury. And in those cases, you have to be flown to Singapore or Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. And because of that, the care for major illnesses and major injuries, it can become very expensive, especially if they're not equipped to treat you on the island. So that is something that I had to think about in terms of medical care. However, what does alleviate my concern about that is having that good travel insurance that includes health insurance coverage. So if I do need to be airlifted, for example, in the absolute worst case scenario, if I do have to be airlifted somewhere, that will be covered under the health insurance, the medical coverage on my travel insurance plan. And I do have a long-term international health insurance plan that does cover things like that. So it's not a major con because it is a manageable con, but it's definitely something to think about if they're not equipped to treat you in a serious, major, catastrophic type emergency. They may not be equipped to treat you on the island, and you may have to be airlifted out. So just wanted to share that because it is something that is at the forefront of my mind. So if that is a concern for you, just make sure you have that good travel insurance with health insurance coverage as well. All right. So let me check the comments to see what y'all are talking about. See the girl talking about my ride on the motorbike. Yes, girl, I had to clench my booty cheeks. I had to clench them tight. I had to clench them tight. Let's see. Cold does that to me. Also, my body will hurt. Yes, cold makes my body hurt. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Let's see. Venus, who do you go through for your travel insurance? Safety Wing. Safety Wing is who I get my travel insurance through. So the last thing I want to share is the visa options. Let me pull up my notes for this because I'm definitely gonna forget something for this one. But I looked into the long-term visa options. They do have several options available. And I think a lot of people may not know about this because I don't see too many people talking about relocating to Bali. And maybe the people that do, they just want to keep it on a low, low because it's such a beautiful experience. And they know if too many of us come, Americans can mess things up sometimes. But here are the visa options that I researched myself. I also got information from people who are currently living there. Uh, and these are the options that I noted that I will be eligible for, and you may also be in my same situation. So the very first visa, of course, is the easiest one that all of us use as tourists to Bali. We do, even though we have that blue magical passport, you do require a visa to enter Bali, but you can get the tourist visa on arrival. And the tourist visa on arrival, once you, as you're going through, customs and immigration, is part of that process. You just get in line. I believe you can do it online, but I didn't do it online. I just did it once I got there, and you just get online and you pay 500,000 rupiah, and that's equivalent to about 35 US dollars. And your tourist visa on arrival is good for 30 days. It's good for 30 days, and it can be expended one time for another 30 days for a maximum of 60 days. Just the regular visa and being a tourist and using your passport. You can automatically be granted permission to be in Bali for up to 60 days. And that extension costs about $55. So $35 for the initial one for 30 days. If you want to extend it, you have to extend it, I think, like 2 weeks in advance, because it takes time for processing, for another 30 days for a maximum of 60 days. And that extension, again, is $55. If you overstay beyond the visa that you have been granted, they do charge 1 million rupiah per day. 1 million per day, which is equivalent to about $65 per day. So do not overstay your welcome. Make sure that you are following the processes to get your visa approved. The long-term visa options that I researched that I'm most interested in, there are 3 long-term visa options that I'm considering. The first one is called a single entry. The single entry is something you have to apply for in advance. They call it the offshore. So you apply offshore and you get granted the visa that's valid for 60 days. But it can be extended in country 2 times. So you get 60 days, you can extend it for another 60 days, and you can extend it for another 60 days. So a total for up to 6 months. This is called the single entry visa because the visa is only valid for entry into the country one time. If you leave Bali within that 6-month period, your visa will be canceled. So if you're granted permission for the first 60 days and you can get 2 60-day extensions and you decide to leave and hop over to Bali, hop over to Thailand in month 3, you wasted your money. You wasted your money because once you leave the country, your visa will be canceled. It's single entry, so you can enter the country and you can have it extended up to 6 months, but you have to stay in country for the whole 6 months. A lot of Americans are doing that. A lot of digital nomads do that, to be in country for up to 6 months. It's an option that I noted just to share, but this is not the visa that I would like to apply for because I don't want to be required to stay in one place for that long period of time. The other option is called a multi-entry visa. And it's similar to the single entry visa. The difference is you can leave the country, but it's granted initially for 60 days and it can be extended for another 60 days up to 12 months. Up to 12 months. And you can leave the country and you can leave and enter the country multiple times. That's the visa I will probably apply for. So it gives you entry into the country for up to 12 months, and you can leave and come back as many times as you want. The only thing about these visas is they're only valid for a short period of time, and you have to apply to have them extended. Well, not apply, but you have to have your visa reprocessed, the extension process. So I will go through a reputable company when I am doing my visa. And I understand that the company will send you a reminder when your visa needs to be extended, and they process all the paperwork for you and do all the work for you. And of course, they will have a fee on top of that. And the last visa that I looked into is called a KETAS. And it's a limited stay visa. And there are different types of KETAs. You know, you have family, if you want to work, if you're a student. But the one that I was most interested in is the retirement KETAs. And the retirement KETAs is valid for 1 year, and it can be extended every year for 5 consecutive years. And after 5 years, you're eligible for permanent residency. So the retirement KETAs is something that I would consider later in life. And the reason why I say that is because you have to be age 55 to be eligible for the retirement KETAs. And I heard they're about to increase it to age 60. So I'm not eligible for this visa type yet. I have a long way to go. I'm still in my 40s. But for those of you who are 55 years old, you have to do it now quickly because they're about to increase it to 60 years old. But if you are already in your 60s and you're eligible for this visa, and you also have to have a pension or the financial means of at least 18,000 US dollars per year, because you cannot work on a retirement visa. So age 55 and have an income of at least $18,000 a year, those are the only requirements to be eligible for a retirement visa. And you'll be granted a stay of 1 year that can be extended every year for up to 5 years. And if you stay for 5 years, you'll be eligible to apply for the permanent residency visa. I like that. I like that option a lot. So I will most likely apply for the multi-entry visa that can be extended for up to a year. And then if you leave the country and come back, you reapply for the visa and you can just start the process all over again. But once I am eligible by age, I will most certainly apply for that retirement visa, so you don't have to worry about extending it so frequently. So those are the visa options that I am considering for Bali. Is anyone considering Bali as an option to live long term? Are you considering living in Bali long term? Let me know. Let me know. Yes, Venus. Cold does that to you too. Your body will hurt. Child, it's like my body can. I feel like I'm like my grandma was. You know how your grandma can tell you when the weather is getting bad, when it's about to rain. I'm her, girl. I am her. My body does not like the cold, and I can tell you when bad weather is coming. For sure, for sure. So is anyone planning to live in Bali? Let me know. She said the mosquitoes were biting. Girl, get the auton. Get this, and it'll change your life. This is like a magical elixir. Even though you'll probably never smell like your Bath and Body Works smell goods anymore, you just gonna be replacing it with the smell of this. But there are workarounds. So I am a slow traveler. I have not planted my feet anywhere yet, but I am learning the things that I like and that I need in a country that I will eventually call home. I may continue to slow travel for another 2 years. And when I'm in my 50s, then I may consider planting my feet somewhere. But Bali is definitely at the top of my list. Prior to visiting Bali, Chiang Mai, Thailand used to be my favorite place in the world. Bali has taken Bali has taken the number one spot, and it's primarily because of the people. Oh my God, it's primarily because of the people. But I am now currently in Singapore. I had to leave my beloved Bali because I had some other commitments. So I'm in Singapore for a couple of days. This won't be a long term trip. Singapore is expensive. Singapore is expensive. So I'm only here for about a week, a little over a week. And then I will be bobbing around Southeast Asia for a while. And then I'll head back to the United States in December for the holidays. But I hope this was helpful. I hope this was helpful for you to evaluate your options, whether you want to visit Bali or even stay in Bali long term. Let's see, maybe to visit but not living. Those mosquitoes, like, yeah, they are brutal, honey. Maybe to visit but not living with the mosquitoes and kamikaze drive. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you, sis. But visit Bali, and when you experience the people, it might make you reevaluate all those cons. It might make you reevaluate all those cons. But yes, you're very welcome, Tia D. You're very welcome. But ladies, that is all I have for you. Gail, she says she's on her way to Portugal in a couple of weeks. Oh my goodness, that is exciting. I've heard many good things about Portugal. I have visited Lisbon and Porto. I do love Portugal. The hills are not for me. I'm a walker. I am a walker, but those hills, baby, they had my calves, my thighs, everything on fire. On fire. So I love Lisbon and Porto, and I haven't been down to the Algarve area. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I haven't been to that area yet. So Portugal is a wonderful vacation spot for me, but it's not a place that I would personally want to live. I just cannot tolerate those hills every day. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, if you're watching the replay, leave them down in the comments and like this video. Like this video and share it with anybody that you know that's considering Bali for a vacation spot or a place to live long term. My next video, I will share the conversation and the day out experience I had with my Balinese sister, where she tells us more about life in Bali. So stay tuned. And until next time, bye for now.